some of us have to really be hit hard, right? And you know, that's how it is. You don't have to go far that far. But what happens stony ground is you hear a good word, you hear the preacher, you hear some good advice, and you like it, and you say, today I'm going to walk out of here, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And then you get that phone call. Hey, boy, right? Or that old friend. Or the neighbor. Right? And he offers you something. Or he starts showing you a link to pornography. And he shakes you up. You have no depth. There's nothing to, no conviction. Nothing to say. What you learned today, just, you forgot about it. Stony ground. And it just, the heat of this world just burned you up. And I'm going fast real quick with it. The thorns. And some fell on thorns. And the thorns sprang up and choked it. This is a good example of family and friends. I hear this a lot and I see this a lot. Here's a man that's been through hell and back. He knows how to do what to do. He knows to do good. He's ready. He wants to change. He's trying. But then the family and friends are like thorns. And you just grab them because thorns are pretty powerful. You know that? You ever seen thorns all wrapped up? So they wrap around you and they choke. Family and friends. It's a difficult situation to be in. Very hard. You know, and I feel grateful that I had a family that didn't choke me. And those that did try, you know, I didn't have to be around. I could go my own way. If I give you, I'm your friend, and I give you a cup of cyanide. Do you know what cyanide is? Poison. An enemy of yours. Says, here, Oscar, have some cyanide. Beautiful cup, nice, clear. And you drink it and you die. It's your enemy. But what if a friend accidentally gives you a cup of cyanide and you drink it and you die? What's the difference? If the friend gives it to you or your enemy gives it to you? It's still cyanide. Don't drink it. So, the thorns of this world, you know, lure us and it chokes us. You know, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's a job, sometimes it's a woman. That's a good thorn, the flesh. So my point is, there's going to be things, right, that when you get a good seed, a good word into your life, to your heart, to your mind, you're going to have to protect it. If you believe it, you're going to have to take it, hold it, and let it grow. Because it will grow. That's the second part of this. Because the fourth good ground, it said, the others fell on good ground. I believe that I have some good ground in my heart today. And not because I'm perfect, but because I cultivate it on a daily basis. All of us here have good ground. All of us. Let me give you some good news. You do have good ground. You have good ground. And you're working on it. And as long as you keep cultivating that heart They just come automatically. You know, I've been trying to change and work on my life for 18 years. It's about the 18 years. And it's been difficult. I had to make some choices. I had to say no to some things. I think part of my success, if you may, has been my selfishness. I'm going to the top. Get out of my way, you know? Get out of my way. You know, I know how hard it is to have a cold-blooded, heartless heart. And to be able to break out of this is very difficult. The good news is it's possible. You know, I tell people I like working with drug addicts and alcohol, hardcore. Because sometimes that's the only way we're gonna snap. Some people that think they have it all going on, they don't listen. Let me give you some good news. But the other fell in good ground and it yielded crop. Some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. Let me tell you about you guys, you're doing good, right? It's not the best job in the world, right? Some people are doing better than others, right? Well, that's what that means. Some of us are going to have a little bit. So some people wish you had your job, right? How did you do it? Some people, I bet somebody, they've told you that. Man, you get out, you're on a monitor, you got your job. Some people can't even get a job. Because some people are going to get a little bit. Some people are going to get a little bit more. And some people are going to get a little bit more. But we're all going to get something if you keep working on your good soil. Or working at it, right? I'm very blessed. I am. And not with money. Although I have all my bills paid, don't I?
No comment.
You know, it feels awesome. I was thinking the other day, I have no worries. Money does that. You pay your bills. Pretty awesome. But some of us are not there yet. But now I had to spend, 13 years in prison. Right? Some of us had to do that, right? Some of us haven't had to do that. Some of us don't have to do that. We all paying a price. That's another thing. There is a price for success. There is a price for change. But here's the deal. The price for success and the price for failure, they both have a price. And you're either going to go through the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Make sense? The pain of doing what's right. Listen, I don't want to go to church. Yeah, I don't want to go to prayer. You don't want to do things to discipline your life. But yet, if you don't do that, a year, 2 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, you're going to suffer the pain of regret. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do. You see the two pains? When I understood that, I said, I'll go through the pain. I'll go through the pain. I'm still going through it. Day in and day out. Day in and day out. I hate getting up in the morning. It feels terrible. I don't know about you. I don't like getting up in the morning. But why do I do it? Why do I go through that pain? That's it. That's very basic. the simplest thing. It's amazing. And guys, what you're going through, what you've been through, I'm telling you, each and every one of you here, every one of you here, what you've been through can become an asset. You know what an asset is? It's something very valuable, right? 18 years ago, I didn't think my life was going to be very valuable. I was a worthless, useless, ruthless drug addict. It was no good to myself, to society, to my family. I was no good. But you know what God does? He turns that around and He makes it something that you couldn't do. And that's what God did. Each and every one of you have the same exact thing that I had. No more and no less. All of us has felt worthless and hopeless and useless. And all of us are ruthless. But you can change. And once you grab a hold of that, there's only one way up. So now, let me give you, and I'll close and we'll discuss a little bit. The last thing I want to share on the basics of sowing and reaping is sometimes when you're doing great, and this is going to happen to each and every one of us, you're doing great, life is good, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're coming to church, you're coming to prayer, you're doing everything that you're told to do that can help you and change your life. And you're doing it, and you're doing it, and then all of a sudden, bam, you lose your life. You lose your job. Something happens. The car breaks down. Everything falls. You got a new charge that you forgot about. They lock you up again. And I hope that doesn't happen. What I'm trying to tell you is that life is going to hit sometimes. Sometimes the sowing and reaping doesn't work at all. Let me explain. The farmer. See, the law of sowing and reaping comes through the farmers. There's summer, winter, fall, right? Spring, right? Okay, and the farmers have to learn to work with the seasons, right? And they plant in certain seasons, right? So that a couple months later or whatever, the season to reap comes, right? And they know the system. As long as you understand the basics, they know the basics. They cultivate, they water, voltean la tierra. That's what we're doing here. Estamos volteando tierra. Right? And then they put it real pretty, right? Se miren bonito las filas, right? Except when you're working them, right? So, and then they plant the seeds, and they put fertilizer, and they water it. They pay hundreds, you pay a big price to do what you're supposed to do. A big price. And they're telling you, it's going to get good, it's going to go there. At the end, you're going to have a blessing. And then it looks beautiful, the plants grow, you're doing great, and it's time to reap. And then the hailstorm hits. And they lose it all. It's called life. The farmer has a decision to make. You guys have a decision to make. Do I do it all over again? Is it really worth it? I thought I was going to get my miracle out. I thought everything was going to be okay, that I was serious. And then the hurricane, what did you call it? Hailstorm came and destroyed everything. How do you think the farmer feels? Does he quit? No. You start all over again. Because if you don't, you have no chance of ever moving forward. And that's how it's going to work for us. That's how it works for us. When I was in prison, This last time, I was just 6.5 years sentence. For me to get 6.5 years. Necesitamos una ayuda. That's how I felt. I said, I can do this. See, but it wasn't just me, though. See, I learned. You know how some guys say, yo puedo hacer tiempo y quiero, like they're doing something, right? Yep. Well, because we're selfish people. So, but I want to change my life. I won't get home, but I want to come home too. And then what do the parole board do? They wiggle a little. Let me see, come to the parole board. Let's see if we let you go. Right? And then you wait. And you wait. And a month goes by. And 2 months, I'm going to get my F1 or whatever it is. And then settle. Bah! Another year. 2 years. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. See, that's why I like working with you guys. You understand?
We feel you too. Don't worry. The family on this side feels it too.
And that's what I'm trying to get to. It's and then what does my wife have to do? And what I had to do, I have to start all over again. Okay, another year. All right. Let me keep going to church. Let me keep doing my thing. Let me keep believing. Just hoping. And let me keep, learning about business. That's what I did. I'm not telling you stuff I haven't done. I believe this is why God is blessing me today. It didn't just happen overnight, Jobber. It's been years in the making. And I'm honored to be here today. It's incredible to be in my shoes today. I want to make my family proud. I want to make my wife proud. I want to make my wife, my mom proud. My family, my sister, that they can look up with dignity. They look at my brother. I want to make God proud. And I want to make my pastor proud. And I can do that because I've been doing the basics. Not because I'm big and bad and I'm all that. No. It's because I've been doing the basics. Day in and day out. Even when I didn't feel it. Just like the farmer that gets up every morning. Here we go again. And we just gotta do it again. And over, and over, and over, and over. And before you know it just happens. But you can't quit. You can't look back. You gotta pull out the thorns. You gotta cultivate that ground. You gotta get those thorns and that stony ground out. That's what we're doing. That's what choose the changes. You got to choose to change on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, sometimes minute by minute, right? So, the 3 things I don't want you to forget about today is the basics are very few. We read that. There's just a few, and everything you do, just a few things really matter. There's no new. And when you got it, what? You got it. The law, sowing, and it's worth a gamble. It's worth the gamble. It is worth the gamble. Any questions?
You said basics. Can you explain to them what are basics for Christians? I know the answer. I know what it is. Prayer, church, tithing, things that help withstand life is prayer. But you haven't explained what to them to go home and say, okay, what am I doing that I'm not doing? That's part of the basic.
Man, that's awesome, Joe. I knew you were here for a reason. So, in other words, what he's saying, so what do I do now?
What are the basics?
Homework. Man, I forgot my thing is.
It's right there in the